Madam President.
The senior senator from North Dakota.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm here and pleased to join my colleague from the state of New Mexico and thank him for his leadership on the Ag Appropriations Committee and to join him in urging support for our legislation. It did pass the full Appropriations Committee, and I see that our Appropriations Chair is here, and I want to thank her for her work as well. But it did pass our full Appropriations Committee unanimously. You know, we like to see that bipartisanship, but I think it says a lot that it came through the full Appropriations Committee with a unanimous do pass vote. Just want to talk a little bit about the bill and how important it is that also that we are returning to regular order. I think that's incredibly important. Our objective here is not just to pass the bill, but to do it through regular order, meaning an open amendment process. And I think that's something that our members have very much wanted, and that's something we're working very hard to achieve. And like the senator from New Mexico, I want to thank his staff, Diane Neller, Rachel Erlbacher, and Hannah Hoeven for their work. We appreciate working with them, and of course, my crew, Morgan Ulmer and Patrick Carroll, worked very diligently, worked well together to craft the bill, and so I want to express my appreciation as well as to Senator Heinrich. As he detailed, this bill represents careful consideration of the many important programs that are included in the Ag Appropriations Bill. It reflects a balance of making the right investments in critically important programs while lowering levels in some areas that had seen supplemental increases in the past, because obviously we were given a 302B number that we had to achieve, and that took actually reducing spending in some areas. Tough decisions were made, dollar for dollar. This bill spends less than 1% more than last year, even though obviously the cost of inflation has been significantly higher. Still, we were able to provide the necessary investments in agricultural research programs, for example, to support the continued success of America's farmers, ranchers, and agribusiness. And that ag research has made incredible differences in terms of not only disease resistance, but also productivity gains for our farmers and ranchers. We were also able to support efforts to protect our producers from things like avian influenza, chronic wasting disease, and other diseases that affect our crops and animals as well. We also provided funding for the Farm Service Agency and the Risk Management Agency to ensure that our farmers and ranchers continue to have access to important programs to disaster assistance and to crop insurance. Obviously, with the FSA and RMA, it's vitally important that they have adequate staffing to work directly with our farmers and ranchers. Agriculture has become, like all businesses, more complicated and more challenging, and we need to make sure that that assistance is in place for our producers. We fully fund the Food Safety and Inspection Service to support our nation's frontline inspectors and maintain progress made in recent years to increase transparency and competition in the meat industry, and there's a lot more that we need to do there as well. But we are making progress and need to continue to work on that important issue. We were able to provide targeted increases to the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, in order to promote programs that support food safety and address critical drug and device shortages. Last Congress, there were significant increases for conservation and rural infrastructure programs like broadband coverage. And while USDA is working to get that funding out the door, we were able to make reductions in some of these accounts while still making substantial progress on those things. But again, it required that in order to make sure that we could achieve the budget number that we were given. Like I say, just 1% more than last year. We also rescinded previously appropriated discretionary dollars that have gone unspent in the department on a multi-year basis, and worked very hard to make sure we could find any areas of waste and tried to reduce spending in those areas. Essentially, what we are doing is what Americans are forced to do every single day, and that is to do more with less, to prioritize and make sure that they find savings where possible and fund priorities. Essentially, we know there's more to do. We think that this bill, as I say, coming through the committee unanimously, is a solid piece of work. We're ready for an open amendment process and certainly welcome ideas from the entire body. Again, I want to emphasize the importance of getting back to regular order. This gives us an opportunity to do that. So let's, seize the day, as they say, carpe diem. Let's get to work on it and make sure that we also do the absolute best that we can for our farmers and ranchers. One point in closing that I want to make, and that is this. We have about 16 million people involved in agriculture across this great country. We have a system of family-based small businesses in agriculture. Our farmers and ranchers, largely family-based small businesses, and we can't take that for granted. They produce the highest quality, lowest cost food supply in the world. Americans spend less of their budget on food than almost any other developed country, brought to them by farmers and ranchers. So it's critically important that we support them because every American benefits every single day from what our farmers and ranchers do, and we can't take that for granted. Look at the consolidation we see in so many other industries. Let's make sure that we continue to have that family-based small business network out there providing our food, fiber, and fuel every single day, and that's what this legislation is all about. With that, Mr. President, I yield the floor.